right, welcome you to Off the Edge.
OTE in the house.
The Off the Edge podcast. We're getting this Off the Edge podcast going. I'm Joe. I got my brother Eric here with me.
What's up?
And today, y'all been hearing about him all week. Y'all been hearing about him all week, seeing him everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Kwame Brown.
Kwame
Brown.
Kwame.
You know, I mean, he's original. Okay. He's been lighting up these dudes, you know.
Yeah.
He's been lighting them up like they've been saying. They woke the sleeping giant.
Yeah, he's literally a giant. He's like 7 foot. So
he's a big dude.
He's a big dude. He's taking on all comers. Like I'm kind of afraid to say his name because I don't want him to hear this and he come after us. Like, hey,
I'd be honored. I'd be honored if he came after me because we're just starting this out. You know, we got a small thing going.
Because Kwame be doing his research. He be doing some research.
He's not just some big old dummy like they think he is. That man has a lot of time in his hands. Okay, you gotta remember he got money in the bank. He got time in his hands to go at you. So beware.
Hey, I love it. He's really, I'm not in particular. I particularly don't like the profanity and the use of the N-word. I kind of chalk that up as profanity. I feel like he has some relevant points. How he's been portrayed throughout the years has been problematic. Just for black men, yes, but younger people.
And it goes to celebrity too.
Yeah.
People, okay, I think you should treat people as you want to be treated.
Exactly.
But people act like because someone is famous or in the limelight, you can ha ha at this person with impunity. Like they're not real people. Mm-hmm. There's a disconnect here. If you let's say your brother or your sister was going through some adversity, you would not want strangers to come up to him, make fun of him, laugh at him.
Exactly.
People show this inhumanity towards other people just because you don't know this person. Because this person is rich, all you're supposed to laugh at him. Mm-hmm. To me, calling that man a bust, when that guy, he told himself, he spent 13 years in the NBA.
Yeah.
Nobody in the NBA, you can probably call for a bust. Now, he was drafted for particular reasons, you know. No one ever said he was going to be the next Michael Jordan and nothing like that. Most basketball players, you know, they don't reach that level.
Yeah.
But he stuck around for a while. Yeah. And that's a big accomplishment because they didn't get to the NBA and let alone that, stick around.
I never use the word bust to describe someone's career in sports because I really enjoy sports. I feel like sports can be viewed as an observational sort of caveat to how society works in a lot of instances. But I think in particular for him, a bust or someone that did not fulfill career expectations is someone that squanders it through drug abuse. Just not working hard. The franchise does play a part in that. However, there has been plenty of there's been plenty of players that have been drafted to pretty good franchises that have not realized expectations.
Correct.
Would I call them a bust? No. I would say it's real easy for us to project our expectations on them, and they're not utilized in the right way. But usually, if you're going number one, top 10 or something, it's probably you're probably being drafted to a franchise that doesn't make smart decisions anyway.
Exactly.
In particular with Kwame Brown, he was drafted to a Washington Wizards organization that
they were struggling back then. They were struggling back then. And they should have built the team around
yeah.
Mitch Richmond more. They should have focused more on Mitch Richmond back in the day.
Well, I think Mitch Richmond was on his last legs in that time. So
Yeah.
I know back in the day you were a Mitch Richmond fan, but he was someone that, you know, by the time he was already out of there by that
Yeah,
time.
he wasn't who he used to be, but yeah.
Yeah, he was already out of there by that time, but I think, you know, the Washington Wizards at that time when Michael Jordan took them over, they were pretty much a rudderless ship.
Exactly.
They were a franchise in disarray. You know, they had Juwan Howard, they had Chris Webber. They got rid of all of them, and you let someone that, yes, is the greatest player.
Don't mean he's the greatest coach or greatest guy to shape your franchise.
Yeah, he's not a culture changer. As a player, yes. But at that time, he was a declining player, and he had his own agenda when he got to the Wizards. He's still probably the most ultra competitive person that's ever played a game of basketball, that's ever played sports, maybe. So you had to know that when he did come back to the NBA, and he in particular went to the Washington Wizards, that the likelihood of him playing was probably pretty high, because Michael Jordan's only going to take so much mess talking. You know, in a way, it's kind of like Kwame Brown. He's only going to take so much. Yeah. Then he's going to bust out on you.
Yeah, he's a guy that, like, kings used to lead their armies from the field themselves in the battle. Jordan's that kind of dude. He has to lead them to battle.
Yes.
He's not, I don't know what he's up to now, but I know back then definitely he was still in that warrior mode. So he had to get in there and lead it from the front. And I think that messes up the dynamic of the team.
Yeah.
Because that's not the normal structure of a team.
Yeah, his ego strength, was very high. Like he had to be the man, and it's very intoxicating. Like. That's why Tom Brady is still playing, because he knows once he leaves, you're not gonna get nothing like that. Like, it's nothing going to be able to compare to that type of high that you have by being an alpha male
and leading a team into battle, leading them into battle,
males, and going after a goal.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have that same camaraderie that you have when you play with your
kids. It's not like with sports too. It's not like you can become 45, 50 and just keep playing sports until you retire at 62. No, exactly. It's not like that. It's like you gotta get as much in it when you play sports in your prime as possible.
Exactly.
And so guys that can keep going, like Jordan kept going for a while, Tom Brady, people like that can just keep going. I don't blame them for not wanting to stop, because they know that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Once it's over, in life, they're not going to just be able to pick up they could coach if that's their inclination, if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But they'll never be able to do that again.
Yeah.
Because once they get a certain age, you physically cannot do it anymore.
Yeah.
Tom Brady took care of himself a lot. I think to me, as athletes go, he's probably the most strict about his diet and his health.
I'll say
he's very strict.
LeBron is probably up there as well. He's utilizing modern technology.
Oh yeah,
The same. He's doing his research about what can work. His team is doing what works, and doing alternative types of things. And that's what modern day athletes have nowadays. Their body is their business.
Yeah, I think they're a lot more serious about that. It used to be only you would see Olympians, having these strict meal plans, all this kind of stuff, strict supplementation. Now that's breeding into professional sports. Before it's more so, we'll go. Some guys go to they still do. They go to the club, they drink, then they try to go out to the court. Yeah. You can see them bloated. Yeah. You say that guy's bloated. Yeah. That guy went to a buffet.
Exactly.
Like he's got out of a buffet.
Exactly. But going back to the Wizards, that Jordan's sort of presence being there and drafting Kwame Brown and wanting to try to shape him in the next. Maybe he tried to shape him in the next team. I don't know. Maybe he tried to.
I think he might try. I think he might try to shape everyone into the next Jordan. I think that's what it's about. Like, this is how you become I think he had tunnel vision. Like to become great, you had to be Jordan.
Yeah.
You had to do this, that.
Yeah.
Like he didn't see Kwame Brown like, oh, to become Kwame Brown, Kwame Brown, he has to do this and that to be great. No, I think Kwame Brown could have been like he said it himself when I was watching one of the things like he was in the Kevin Garnett, kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he was to me a player like Kevin Garnett, but Jordan, and plus he said he injured his hand too.
Yeah.
So that affected his shooting, but Jordan wanted to make him into something else.
Yeah.
But he had him.
No, he wanted to make him into one of his teammates. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He wanted him to be subservient to him. There's been plenty of stories, whether Rich Hamilton, that used to play on the Wizards, Stackhouse, that
I forgot about Jerry. Jerry Stackhouse used to be a big name, right?
Yeah.
Jerry Stackhouse.
They used to play on the Wizards, and they would say, Michael, like in particular, Rich Hamilton. He said one game they were playing the Knicks, and Nick and Richard Hamilton was going off, and he could have got 50 that game, but Michael Jordan came to him and said, "Hey, big, I got it the second half." Like, and that's what Jordan ended up with, like 28, and I think Richard Hamilton ended up scoring 4 more points that whole game.
See, you have to mess up dynamic because normally a player would have that kind of power, so it just messed that dynamic up. So I believe Kwame Brown was in an odd situation. He might have had some injuries. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a bust, and years.
But even still, he played well.
Yeah.
So
he lasted 13 years. Yeah. A lot of guys don't do that. He was doing something right. Obviously, he was a good teammate.
Yeah.
For to stick around that long, he was a good teammate. And these people, especially people he knows. Yeah. He knew those guys on that podcast, that Up in Smoke podcast. Yeah. He knew them.
Which is this.
They weren't. Imagine some guy. I mean, okay, they were coworkers.
Yeah.
Imagine some coworker that you were cool with, that you helped out.
On the Bobcat, especially they were on the Bobcats, I think, and Kwame Brown was there, and Steven Jackson was there.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and then they publicly try to make fun of you, publicly try to clown you. Mm-hmm. So that started all this, but he's giving it back to them, and I'm glad he's getting some. He's putting his story out there, and he's getting the light shine on him like he should.
Yeah. And really opening up a lot of people's eyes to what we say as black men to each other. We do more capping, and we do more mess talking and running each other down than we do
just running down.
If a Caucasian person or another nationality does.
Like he said, you rarely hear it. You're not going to hear that. Now, I don't agree with all his views all the way, but I agree with that. As African American males, we need to stop coming at each other so hard. Yeah. There's other issues to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be kind of lame, but if you don't have something nice about somebody, don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Don't say it at all. There's no this world's negative enough as it is. Why put more negativity out there?
And I agree, and I think one thing that Kwame Brown wants, he wants respect put on his name, and he wants an apology. But I see how the people that he's asking for apology for, they're trying to passively give him one.
Yeah,
they're not fully committed to apology
trying to give him one
because they're like, again, it's male bravado. When it's not even needed, instead of saying, "Hey, I apologize. I shouldn't say anything. I know how it can be damaging to not only you but other people, and I'm going to do better." But that would be what they call a they have some term for it, a mea culpa.
Mea culpa. You whipped out the dictionary on that one. You got the dictionary for that. People got to look up that word. People don't know what that word means.
Yeah,
they don't know what that means.
Yeah, mea culpa, a full apology, and say I was wrong, a retraction in a sense. But it's like they can't. I was listening to Chris Broussard and Rob Parker today on their radio show, and it's like they just couldn't. And Kwame Brown really didn't go after them. He just said they were unsightly, and he talked about them, but he's not really the object of their ire. But But today I was listening to them talk about saying you can tell they were scared because they don't want they don't want that smoke from Kwame. You can tell they were scared. But even it's like in the midst of that, their bravado just sort of creeped out of them and saying we're not gonna we're sorry if we say anything, but you need to just calm down and all that. I'm like, just tell the man you're sorry if you said anything wrong and just be done with it.
Yep.
That's all he wants, but they don't understand the full extent of what he's trying to say.
No.
And he's right. They're programmed to do that type of stuff. It's like they can't stop it because they know he knows if you just talk about strictly basketball and the statistics, they won't have nothing to say. They won't have nothing to talk about. So
it comes down to too, like if they know their audience, if they appear to like they're backing down or they're backtracking, their audience gonna make fun of them, and they're gonna comment section people be, talking about, oh, you're scared of, so that bravado, it really does get amped up, especially when it's out the open like this. Yeah. I mean, it's bad enough behind closed doors.
Yeah, he got everybody scared. He got everybody really rethinking what they're saying, and I haven't heard this many people scared since back in 2011 when this preacher predicted the end of the world. I haven't heard this many people scared.
Kwame Brown he's the apocalypse.
Yeah, he's bringing the sword on them. And I'm like, hey man, let's listen to what he's talking about. I myself, I might not agree with everything he's saying, but I would probably agree with like 98% of it.
Yeah, most of it.
I see the fruit of what he's talking about. I see the
cattiness of these men. Men are being so catty. It's just, it's unsightly.
Yeah,
that's the word. It's unsightly.
Unsightly.
Okay, well, I think that's.